Welcome back. My name is Dr. Carl Baird, and today I'll be guiding you through our level 4 workout for shoulder pain. So this is our most advanced of our shoulder pain workouts, which means we should be relatively pain-free. We should have most of our range of motion so that we can really focus on building strength to improve muscular balance, to take tension off of your rotator cuff, your bicep tendon, your subscap, whatever it is that's causing you an issue. So before we get started, let's make sure we got all the equipment that we're gonna need. First, we're gonna need a band. We got our nice little rubber band here. This is about 25-pound resistance. We got our lighter band. This is more like a traditional physical therapy TheraBand. And then we're gonna use a foam roller, and we've got a kettlebell or a dumbbell. And then we need a bench or a chair for today's workout. So make sure you gather all those things. You can hit pause on this video for a quick second, make sure you have everything. Then we'll go ahead and get started. So first thing we're gonna do, we're gonna start with our warm-up. So we're gonna start on our mat. Let's move everything out of the way so you can see. And we're gonna start with that mid-back mobilization. So we're gonna do foam roll extensions. So we wanna start with the foam roll right at the bottom of our shoulder blade. So you don't wanna get too low with this one. You don't wanna get into the lower back. This is strictly for the mid back. We're gonna put our hands on our head and we're just gonna drop our shoulders down, not letting your neck overextend like that. So again, we're starting by, and then we're gonna move our hips down, get that foam roller up just an inch or two. We're gonna work our way up and down. But again, we're starting with this mid-back mobility. You gotta remember that a lot of our shoulder range of motion is tied to our mid-back range of motion. And so people with shoulder pain, a lot of times what you'll find is a really stiff in this mid-back. So we wanna start here just to get us that little extra range of motion. So after we reach the top, we're gonna do one more time through. So start again at the bottom of your shoulder blade and just drop down, not letting your neck overextend. This should feel pretty good. This is one of the ones after a long day, if you work at a computer, just sitting down, really open you up. Feels really good. All right. We got one more here. Good. All right. Next, we're gonna move to our hands and knees. Still using our foam roller. Now we're gonna work our mid-back into rotation. We're gonna mobilize it into rotation. So we're gonna start with the foam roller on one side. If it's on my right side, I'm gonna take my left hand, pinky edge on the foam roller, and twist, reach as far as I can. It's okay if this right arm bends. You're bringing your ear and your head to the ground. Hold it for a second or two and come on up. And back down. So it's not a static stretch. You're really moving in and out. Each time trying to go a little bit further into that movement. Should feel a stretch on the back of the left shoulder into that mid-back. Good. Then we're just going to switch sides. So we're going to move the foam roller on the right. Now I'm going to take my right hand, pinky edge on the foam roller, same thing. We're gonna twist. Hold for a second or two. Come back up. And twist again. Good. Twist. We're trying to go further with each time. Last one here. So really, really reach. Really trying to mobilize that mid-back. Get into that end range. That's where you're gonna really improve your range of motion there. And done. Nice work. All right. We're gonna stand on up. And next, we're gonna use our red resistance band. We're just gonna warm up the shoulders a bit. So we're gonna start with banded pass-throughs. So take a wide grip on your band. The wider you go, the easier, less tension. You can go narrower. It's just going to be a little bit more tension, a little bit harder. So whatever you feel comfortable with. But we're going to start with just some back and forth. taking our shoulder through its full range of motion. Just getting it warmed up. Again, by now at this point of the workout, you should have your full range of motion back. There shouldn't be too much pain. You don't want this to be painful. All right, good. One more time. Nice work. All right. Next, we're gonna do pull apart. So same wide grip on the band. Arms are gonna be straight in front of us, and you're just gonna pull straight back to your chest and relax. And it's gonna be more of a pull. So I'm not letting all of the tension out here. I'm keeping tension the whole time, just pulsing. I like to do about 20. But what we're doing, we're getting our central nervous system fired up. We're getting the muscles of the shoulders engaged because we're going to move on to strength training after this. So 3, 2, 1. Good. All right. So our shoulders should be nice and warm. So we're going to move into our strength training movements. First one, we're going to take this bench, take a chair, whatever you have. And we're going to take our weight. So this is where you can use a dumbbell. I'm going to use a kettlebell because we're going to use a kettlebell for another movement later. And again, you want it to be like a medium weight. So you want it to get a little bit heavier because we are focused on building strength. You don't want something that's going to be too light, too easy, but then you also want it not heavy that you're going to have bad form. So to perform, we're going to start the single arm dumbbell row. So with the bench out in front of me, I'm just going to send my hips back, put my hand on the bench. Now the main thing is I want a nice straight spine when I do this movement. I'm going to take my weight, hold it here. So this is the bottom of the movement, and the only thing we want to make sure is at the bottom that we're not letting the weight kind of twist us inward like that. We want to keep our shoulders nice and in line. And then from there, I'm just going to do 12 on my right. So I'm going to do a pull. So I'm going to keep my elbow nice and close to my body and just do 1, 2. So again, keeping a nice straight spine the whole time. 8, 10, 11, 12. Good. After you've done 12, you're going to switch sides. Now I'm going to put my right hand on the bench, and my left hand is going to grab the weight. We're going to do 12 on this side. So again, making sure your shoulders are in line, spine is nice and straight, and keeping that elbow nice and close to the body. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Good. You can take a quick little rest if you want to, but we're going to go back to the right side. We're going to do 2 on each side this time. So we're getting into the strength training component, which means we can start doing more reps. We've been using kind of timing for a minute up until this point, but when you get into real strength training, that's when it's important to get into reps and weights and things like this. So this is kind of that transition. All right, let's get the last 12 here. 1, 3, 4. Keeping spine nice and straight. Shoulders square. Elbow close to the body. 12. Nice work. Switching sides. So now my right hand's on the bench. And we're going to do 12 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Nice work. We're going to set our weight off to the side. I will move my bench out of the way, and we're going to move to some of our banded moves. So first one was actually, we did in level 3. It's going to be the face pull. Again, this is just my favorite exercise for shoulder pain, which is why I included it in both levels. It targets right on the back, upper back, which is really hard to target those muscles, but really important for muscular balance to take pressure off the shoulder. So we're going to hook our band about chin height. We're going to take an overhand grip. Let me make sure I got my timer ready to go. So overhand grip, and then we're going to pull to our chin or right below our chin here. Just like this. And again, we want to make sure our elbows stay in line with our shoulders, but we want to avoid hunching the shoulders. That's kind of the fine balance. With all these movements, you want to avoid hunching. And what I mean by that is, again, when those shoulders creep up like that. You want to relax those upper traps while performing this movement. Nice work. We got 20 seconds left. You want to feel it again. Back side of your shoulder into the upper back is what we're targeting. Not right between the shoulder blades, but right at like the base of the neck. 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Good. Next one, we're going to move into, it's called a rear delt fly. So your deltoid is this big muscle that surrounds your shoulder. It has an anterior, lateral, and then posterior or rear. So this is going to be the one that we're targeting. There's 2 ways to do this. We're going to start with the easiest variation on round 1, and then we'll move to a more difficult variation in round 2. So all we're going to do, hook our TheraBand up to a wall. This one we're going to keep our arms straight, and we're going to pull straight out. Trying to make a T here. Good. I'm going to start our timer, make sure we're keeping time here. All right. Good. So this is, if you'll remember from level 3, we did the Y's and T's. This is essentially the T component of that exercise. But again, really important to target the muscles on the posterior or back side of our shoulder to create balance, to take pressure off of the structures of our shoulder, whether it's rotator cuff, biceps tendon, pec muscle, whatever it is that's causing you pain, we can correct that by improving balance. Good. We just got about 5 seconds more here. This one's pretty difficult, so if you need to take a break, split it up. That's okay too. And done. Nice work. Okay. We're going to move into our next row variation. So if you'll notice, there's a lot of rows that we do when it comes to shoulder pain, because we want to strengthen the back to create that muscular balance to limit stress on the shoulder. Probably repeating myself, but that's the message. Okay, so for this one, what we're going to do, we're going to take each side of the band. You're going to try to step right on the middle of the band. I'm trying not to step on my microphone here. Good. Get my timer going. You're going to stand back up. So we're going to start with a hinge movement. So if you go all the way back to level 1 in our level 2 workout, we worked on that hinge. So we're going to send our hips back. Now for this movement, it's okay to drop our trunk a little bit more. What we want to avoid is getting into this, if your trunk is too far up, you start doing those shoulder shrugs, which we want to. I apologize, the video got cut off there. So we'll get right back into this movement with the banded rows with that hinge. So again, you got that nice hinge position, your trunk is down. You want to keep a nice straight back. So don't allow that back to round, but you want to keep it parallel with the ground to avoid this hunching row. We really want to target right in between our shoulder blades. And again, just slow and controlled. You're not going to be able to really rep this one out. It's a pretty difficult movement, so just stay nice and controlled. And down. All right. So next, we're going to get into our kettlebell lift. So this is more of a full body movement, targets the entire posterior chain from the head all the way down the arms, but it also, as you get into these heavier weights, targets our lat muscle, which is really important for shoulder pain. So we're going to start with the weight right between our feet. We're going to send our hips back. Remember, keeping a nice straight spine. Once we can't go any further, that's when we're going to bend our knees to get ourselves to the weight. Then we're going to press our feet up. Stand on up. Good. So remember, in level 3, we did this lift. We did an elevated lift, which means we were just lifting from a box. And so now, all we're doing is adding that little bit of knee bend to lift from the floor. So same movement, still practicing that hinge. We're just lifting from the floor. Really good functional movement, really good way to strengthen the entire posterior chain. Good. And done. All right, next, we're gonna move into the push-up position. This is a tough movement to do. We wanna make sure that you're performing it with really good form. And so again, a lot of times the shoulder pain with people that work out, it's from poor push-up position. So let's make sure we get that position down. I like to start from the ground. We're gonna put our hands right outside the shoulders. We're gonna keep our elbows tucked close to our body. That's the main thing. What we really want to avoid is our elbows turning out like that. That's gonna put a lot of tension on the front of our shoulder and where a lot of people run into some trouble. So let's go ahead. We're gonna start with knee push-ups. If you're not quite at knee push-ups, you can do an incline push-up, use a bench or a counter as well. But then from there, we're just gonna press on up. So the other thing we want to keep in mind, we want to keep a nice plank position, which means we don't want to kind of like worm it down like that. We don't want our butt in the air, these type of push-ups here. We want a nice strong plank position. We're going to press on down and up. Good. And so again, this is a tough movement. We're just going to set the timer for a minute. Do as many as you can, even if that's only 2 or 3. As you get better, you'll get stronger, more confident with this movement. So don't get frustrated that it's hard right out of the gate. We're just getting started with it, teaching you how to do it with good form. Good. All right. Next, we're going to move into our core workout. So again, with shoulder pain, really important to have a strong core. A strong core helps you control your shoulder movement. So what we're going to do with this one is a quadruped shoulder tap. So we're going to start quadruped position. We're going to have a little bit wider base with our feet, and we're going to lift those knees up. So we're holding that quadruped position. You can either hold here, this is kind of level 1, or if you want an extra challenge, you add in a little shoulder tap. So right hand, left shoulder, really quick, moving back and forth. And why we like that wide base is we really want to avoid this kind of rocking back and forth of our body like that. We want to keep our core in a nice strong position and tap. Whew. 10 more seconds. And done. Whew. All right, so that was round 1. We're going to take a quick break. Let you catch your breath. You're lucky. My camera went out after I filmed round 2, so this is going to be round 3 for me. So I'm going to take a little longer break. We're going to take a longer break, allow me to catch my breath, but we're going to get everything set up for round 2. So what we're going to do is use our bench again. Move our bench where we want, and we're going to do that weight. Get our medium-sized kettlebell or dumbbell ready to go. Whew. Allow me to catch my breath. Yeah, I thought I had this all filmed, and then I go to look at it, I was like, oh, it cut off halfway through. So I'm at round 3, you're at round 2, but I'm feeling ready for it. So let's go. All right. So remember, with the single arm dumbbell row, one of my favorite shoulder strengthening exercises, we're gonna send our hips back, keep that nice straight spine, keep our shoulders in line. So what I mean by that is we're not like starting a lawnmower, right? Where our shoulders are up. It's a nice level position. We're gonna do 12 each side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Good. We're going to switch. Same thing on the left. Nice straight spine. Keep those elbows in line. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Good. Quick break if you need to. Shake out your shoulders. We're going to move back into the right. We're going to do 2 each side. So, hand back on our bench, our chair, and we're going to do 12 more. Keeping that elbow nice and close to the body. 9, 11, 12. Nice work. Switching to our left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Nice work. We're going to set that weight off to the side. We can put our bench away. We're done with the bench. We're going to move into our face pull movement. So we're going to hook our band up chest to chin height, so a little bit higher than a traditional row. We're going to take that overhand grip and we're just going to pull straight back. So again, you want to keep your elbows nice and in line with the shoulders. Same with the wrists. And just pull straight back. You want to feel it kind of right at the base of the neck, the back of the shoulders. This is by far my favorite shoulder pain strengthening exercise. So if you don't have time for maybe this full routine every day, getting some face pulls in is really beneficial. Really good at correcting and improving balance to take pressure, impact, strain off of your shoulder structures, your rotator cuff, your biceps tendon. Good. All right. Next one, we're going to go to the rear delt fly. So we kind of did the easiest version in round 1 where we hooked it onto the post here. If that felt good, just hook it back on the post. I'm going to show you a slightly more difficult version, which I really like. But again, it's just more difficult, involves that hip hinge movement. So what we're going to do, we're going to step on our band, still using that TheraBand. We're going to make an X. So I'm just going to switch the band here so I have a nice X. Next, I'm going to send my hips back. And again, this one, like that banded row, it's okay to have my trunk a little more parallel to the ground just to avoid these kind of like lateral raises. That's not what we're going for. So hips back. And again, this is going to be a pretty difficult one. So I'm just going to do 12. I'm going to do 2 sets of 12 here. So what it's going to look like, arms are going to stay straight, maybe a slight bend in the elbow, and you're just going to come straight out like that. So that's 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Nice work. Take a quick little break. Again, this is more difficult. It's going to be more of like a springy action at the top. It's going to be tough to really go slow and controlled at the top there with this variation. So if you're not quite there yet, it's okay to just hook it up to the pole and do that rear delt fly from the pole. All right, last 12 here. We're going to send our hips back. And here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Woo. Nice work. All right. Catch your breath. As you take our red band out, we're going to do those banded rows with the hinge. Wipe off any sweat. It's still 80 degrees in October here in Oregon, so getting a little sweatier. I'm not used to that. All right. So again, trying to step right in the middle so the tension is the same left and right. We're going to do our hinge, send our hips back, and again, keeping that trunk parallel, avoiding these type of shrugs here. And we're just going to row. Keep those elbows nice and close. I told you that this routine was going to be lots and lots and lots of rowing. So much of our life is in front of us that we're already creating that imbalance, that predisposition to round forward. So it's really important that we take the time, especially if we have shoulder pain, to strengthen our back. So this one, again, slow and controlled, going to be tough to rep it out. It's a tough movement. And done. All right. Next, we're going to move to our lower body, full body movement. So that lift movement, again, really important for strengthening the lower portion of the posterior chain to create and improve that muscular balance. Very functional movement, but as you get into heavier weights, you do get a lot of work in the slat, which is really good for shoulder pain. So let's go ahead and get started. Feet on the outside of that weight, spine nice and straight, hips are down, chest is up, press through the feet, stand on that, send the hips back, bend the knees, keeping that chest up and that spine straight. So again, with this one, very difficult, and for a seemingly simple movement, there's a lot to think about. So this first few times you do this, really just focus on the form, and I'll help you. So again, at the top here, we're sending our hips back, weights coming straight down, and then bending the knees to get it the rest of the way. So again, you start with your hips down, chest up, press through the feet, stand straight up, send the hips back, bend the knees. One last time, stand straight up, send the hips back, and down. Nice work. So again, very first time you're doing that movement can be frustrating and a little bit difficult, but the more you do it, the more comfortable you're going to be with it. And we want to get to the point where it's really just second nature, that you don't have to kind of think of all these small little things. You can just get into the movement and do it. But again, it takes time. So stay positive, stay consistent. All right, last two movements here. We're going to do our push-up. So again, the variation I'm going to do is a knee push-up. That's a good place for a lot of people to start. If you're not quite there yet, you can do an incline push-up. You can even do a wall push-up where you're just pushing up onto the wall. But main thing, we want our elbows to stay in close to the body. We want our hands positioned right outside the shoulders at the bottom here. And then keep that nice strong plank position and press up. So again, we're just going to let the timer go for a minute and do as many as you can. If this is your first time adding in the push-ups, that might only be 2 or 3. Totally fine. I'm going a little slower because this is my round 3 because the camera cut out on me. So I thought my shoulders were done. Had to do it again. But that's life. Just means I'm getting an extra workout, which is okay with me. Getting some extra movement. And screw up all the mistakes from the first take. All right, last one here. Good. All right. we're gonna end it with our core. So again, having a strong core helps you control the shoulder movement, especially in people that are hyper flexible, like dancers and gymnasts. A lot of time have shoulder pain. We gotta learn to control our core. So again, wide base on this one. Get into that quadruped position. You can either hold it here or you can do these shoulder taps. Really trying to avoid these kind of big turns out like that. Good. Whew. This is the last little bit, so really try to push yourself, even if you're feeling like I am right now, where it's really tough. We got only 20 seconds left. Hold it out. If you can't do the taps, just hold it right here, trying to keep that spine nice and straight. Got 10 seconds left. Whew. 5 seconds. You can see as I get tired, I start to rotate a bit more. And whew, done. Nice work. So that was it. That was the most advanced, that level 4 workout for shoulder pain. So if you'll remember, level 1, level 2, we're really focusing on regaining control and awareness of how to move things like your shoulder blade, regaining that movement, helping the pain die down a bit. And 3 and 4 is really about building strength to improve these muscular imbalances. Again, most of us just tend to be so much rounded forward here that by strengthening the back, we can improve this front to back muscular balance to cure things like, it doesn't matter, rotator cuff, biceps tendon, subscap, labrum, all of it. All of these workouts are going to benefit all of those conditions. So go ahead and work your way through it. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. Stay positive. You got this. Hey, it's Dr. Baird here. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube page to catch all our videos designed to help you build the strength and confidence to live active, healthy, and happy lives. You won't find it anywhere else.